Yo, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for checking out the channel today. Today we are going to be going over Israel Sosa's Arceus Goodra VSTAR list that he used to make day 2 at Orlando, I believe it was. I've got to see Israel on stream. He's a long-time player from my area, and it was great to see him on stream again, so I knew that I had to cover his deck because with Israel, it's always a classic. So as mentioned, Israel did choose to pilot Arceus VSTAR paired with Goodra VSTAR. Now we have already went over Arceus VSTAR a couple of times, so I'm not really going to spend too much time on that one. However, this is the first time we are looking at Goodra VSTAR. Goodra VSTAR's main selling point is its rolling iron attack, which for a metal, a colorless, and a water energy does 200 damage, and then during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 80 less damage. Now, if you combine that damage reduction with Goodra's already impressive 270 HP, turns into quite the tank. It means you effectively have to do 350 damage to one-shot it. Otherwise, Goodra will be tanking multiple hits, which is great value when you can have one Pokemon, go through several of your opponent's Pokemon. This is really good into things like Charizard in the early game, because Charizard's damage output is very weak early on before you take prizes, and it is really good into Ancient Box, because with Rolling Iron you're effectively nullifying 8 of their Ancient cards, which is massive. And then in the off chance that we don't use Starbirth on Arceus VSTAR, we do have Moisture Star, which I feel like in any game that you pull this off, it is just game breaking, because Moisture Star just says during your turn you can heal all damage from this Pokemon. So if you get your Goodra up to 250 damage on it and you can resolve a Moisture Star, odds are that's at least 2 attacks that your opponent just had to put into this thing, potentially even 3, and to just fully heal all of that damage and make them do it again is literally game breaking. It's not often that we get to use this because, as mentioned, we are probably going to be using Arceus VSTAR's VSTAR power, but in certain matchups it is actually correct to not use Starbirth and actually save the Moisture Star. So getting into the rest of the list, as mentioned, we do have that standard Arc VSTAR package of a 3/3 line. We are running a 2/2 Goodra along with a 2/2 Bibarel and 1 Squovet package. This is pretty common in Arc decks because Arc tends to run heavy disruption supporters, and playing Squovet is a really neat way to get basic energies out of your hand, since Arc can only accelerate them from the deck. And the last Pokemon that we are playing is 1 Spiritomb. This is mainly in here for Rotom and Lumineon, both of which are played in Charizard, and then Rotom is also played in the Control matchup. As far as the supporters go, it's going to be a little weird. Iono is going to be the main draw supporter at 3, and then following that up with more draw supporters, we are playing 2 Judge and 2 Research. Arc decks typically don't like to go heavy on Research because of the amount of energies they have to play, and then having Judge and Iono pairs really nicely with Bibarel, and it gives you the edge in certain matchups, and it's really good in conjunction with Goodra, because since Goodra has so much tankiness to it, if you constantly disrupt your opponent, you limit their outs to being able to KO the Goodra, which means that it can stay on the field longer. And then to round out the supporters, we do have 3 Boss for gusting effects. Oh, excuse me. We have 2 Airy for extra disruption, and then 1 Turo, which can effectively act like a Moisture Star. Just being able to fully heal some damage is really imperative, and there can even be some board states where you might be able to establish a lone Goodra, because that is something that Goodra can suffer from, is like a turn where your opponent can like double gust, whether it be like Boss, Prime Catcher, Counter Catcher, Prime Catcher, stuff like that, because that will reset the Rolling Iron reduction, and without that reduction, Goodra is just, a 270 HP Mon, which in today's format is relatively easy to hit. Alrighty, and then going on to stadiums, we are playing 2 Pokemon League headquarters. This really helps in the Ancient Box matchup, and Lost Box, for instance, as well. So it's really a nice extra layer of disruption. And then as far as tools go, we do have one TM Devolution. Neither one of our Pokemons can take one-shots on things, so the TM Devolution can help us get some interesting knockouts in the mid-game, and it can also help deny our opponents from, you know, having their key evolution Pokemon in play. And then the aspect we are playing is Hero's Cape. Being able to put Hero's Cape on a Goodra, making it go to an effective 450 HP, is just a daunting task. Yes, Lost Vacuum is in the format, but that's another reason why we play the Heavy Iono and Judge, is so we can try and limit the access our opponent has to something like Lost Vacuum. It's also the reason for the double Airy as well. As far as consistency goes, we do have the standard 4 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra Ball that is in most Arc decks, along with the 2 Switch. We do have the 1 Counter Catcher for extra gust, 1 Lost Vacuum of our own to get rid of pesky tools and stadiums, and then for recovery, we are playing 1 Pal Pad and 1 Super Rod. The energy count, we are playing the standard 4 Double Turbo, as is common with most Arc decks. And then to power up the Goodra, we are playing 3 Metal and 3 Water energy. And then one of Goodra's biggest enemies is just attacks that instantly KO you, like Frenzied Gouging and Star Requiem. So we are choosing to play 2 Mist energies to help mitigate that. So effectively, we can build a huge wall of a Goodra that has used Rolling Iron, so it's reducing damage by 80, has a Hero's Cape, so it has an extra 100 HP, and it has a Mist energy on it, so that way it cannot be instantly KO'd. And then the last energy we are playing is 1 Jet energy. This is a nice way to be able to pivot an Arc into the active spot turn 2, and it is effectively a switching out that cannot be hit by Misfortune Sisters or Airy. So yeah guys, that is the list we are going to be using today. Once again, shout out to Israel Sosa for making day 2 at what I think is his first regionals in quite a while. I'm happy to see it. And yeah guys, remember, if you do enjoy this kind of content, to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then go ahead and leave me a comment down below who your favorite Hisuian Pokemon is. Mine is probably Hisuian Zoroark. I was already a really big Zoroark fan before, and then its Hisuian form made it infinitely cooler, and its Hisuian shiny form is just insane. So definitely got to give it to Zoroark. Hey guys, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and send you off to the gameplay. Alrighty guys, it does look like we found our opponent for the day. Going to be running it with that Arc Goodra list that we just went over. Our opponent gets to call the coin flip here. Hopefully we get to go first. Going first is very, very good for Arc decks, just so that way we can get off the turn to Trinity Nova. However, if we do go second, then there's the potential for us to go double turbo Trinity Charge with the Arc V. So our opponent did end up winning the coin flip, and they are going to go first. I don't feel like there's a lot of decks that actually want to go first in this format, so this makes me think it might be PAL, maybe Lost Box. This looks like Lost Box. More specifically, probably Sablezard. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. So we did open up a pretty poor hand. So far, the suspicions are being proven true. This does appear to be Sablezard. We did see the Crisis Punch and the Fire Energy, which is what made me think it was Sablezard. And, you know, for those of you that may not be too familiar with what the Sablezard variant of Lost Box is, it's a much more kind of one-prizer focused build of Lost Box that uses Sableye over and over to set up damage for Radiant Charizard, and then the aim is to recycle Radiant Charizard a couple of times to just take 2 prizes in consecutive turns. And then you also have access to TM Devolution, so you can spread damage with Sableye and de-evolve some things. And then you do have access to the Crisis Punch, which when attached to Radiant Charizard or Cramorant will get a reduction, so you can actually use it for free. Alright, so our opponent did open up relatively good. I think nest balling for the Cramorant there might have been a little premature. I don't know why we did that. Opponent did get rid of a TM Devolution there, and they just passed. So their hand isn't the greatest. Okay, so we're gonna nest ball. We probably has 2 Arc Vs. That's crazy. We have the other V-Star in our hand. We have the full Goodra line. Prized an Airy. We have 2 Waters. Is the Super Rod in the deck? Okay. Prized the Switch. We have all the metals. We have the 2 Mists. We have the double turbo. We have the 2 tools. So it's Switch, Airy, Judge, Arc V, Arc V. I'm going to go ahead and put down the other Bidoof, just because that will be kind of our saving grace. I'm just going to attach the TM Devolution, and we're going to pass. So yeah, if we can set up double Bibarel, that'll be really nice, because something that our opponent can do in the late game is go like Rock Sand to 2 and then Sableye KO Bibarel. So if we can set up 2 of them, it makes it infinitely harder for them to be able to do that. And then as another precaution, our opponent did already have the Cramorant on the bench, so the likelihood that this Bidoof would get knocked out was fairly high. So we do already have the Arc V-Star in the hand, which is massive. I don't feel bad about attaching a second double turbo. So we got Counter Catcher. I feel like benching the Squovet could be bad. I'm gonna go Super Rod, put in the Bidoof and the 2 Waters. I'm gonna put the Squovet down, double turbo, and I'm gonna go Nestash and see what I draw into before I use Starbirth. Drew into an Ultra Ball. Okay, so we're going to Starbirth for Bibarel and I'm gonna go Bibarel and Goodra, and I'm gonna draw 4 off the bib. Okay, we got Niono and a Hero's Cape. I'm gonna save the Hero's Cape. I might potentially want to put it on Bibarel later in the game. Maybe even the Goodra. So we're gonna go ahead and Niono our opponent to 5. Heavy Disruption. Whoa, that's all the metal energies. That's kind of unfortunate. So now I have to put double water. I might even just put the 3rd water here. No. So yeah, I'm just gonna put double water here. I can't believe I drew all 3 metal energies. That's crazy. Because now I have to attach a metal for turn. I guess I don't have to, because I have the Squovet, so I could just use Arc again, which I don't hate. Okay, so our opponent got the Town Store and a Nest Ball for another Cram. Yeah, that's something else you'll see in Sable's art, is one of the very few variants of Lost Box that will play double Cramorant. Just because, you know, as I mentioned at the start, they're a more one-prizer focused build of Lost Box. And they really aim to use Cramorant's ability to use the TMs for free. Because in case you didn't know, Cramorant's Lost Provisions says ignore all energy in this Pokemon's attack cost. And the way that the TMs work is when they're attached to a Pokemon, it becomes like a selectable attack for the Pokemon to use. So it is considered this Pokemon's attacks. Even though the attack is on the tool, it is an attack that the Pokemon can use. Therefore, Cramorant and Radiant Charizard's abilities for cost reduction do actually apply to the TMs. Alrighty, so our opponent was very well off on the back of that Iono. They found a Cramorant, some switches, put down another Comfey, got a Choice Belt, which I was expecting them to be playing. Okay, so they're going to go for the 2-shot with Cramorant. Oh, they play 3 Cramorant. That's definitely unique to this style of Lost Box. I feel like 3 Cramorant makes sense in Sablezard. It's definitely the only build you'll ever see playing 3. Okay, Spiritom's useless. I think I am gonna... no, I'm not. Because I want to be able to put a Mist Energy on the Bibarel. So I think I'm just gonna go... I definitely want to KO this, because this has the Choice Belt. We're gonna go Incisors. Oh, that was kind of awkward. We're gonna go Town Store for the Hero's Cape. I guess I'll put the double turbo here. Put the Hero's Cape here. And just go for the Trinity Nova. I don't know why I didn't play the Iono there. That was very questionable of me. I got so caught up with the Squova. Getting an Airy is nice. Although there's actually not really a lot of trainers we can hit while they're playing multiple choice builds. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because their main attacker is Charizard. So I think the only relevant trainers we can hit are going to be Super Rods. They're already down 4 switches and 4 nest balls. There's a switch card. All 3 of their Buddy Poffins are gone. The Heavy Ball's gone. Yeah, so I think the only relevant trainers we can hit are Super Rods. Which, to be fair, are pretty relevant. Okay, our opponent got up to 10. There's the double Sableye. So this is going to get very interesting. I do have the Ultra Ball for the Goodra VSTAR. There's a Super Rod. Hopefully the bulk from Goodra is enough to get us through this. I probably should have anticipated the fact that they played multiple choice belt, and I should have vacuumed away the Town Store. I really want to find a Mist Energy for the Bibarel this turn. They're down 2 Super Rods already. And they only have a 5-card hand. I really can't see. I can't even see the boss being useful. I guess I am going to go for the Airy. We hit a Mirage Gate. Okay, so they have Boss plus Radzard plus Crisis Punch. Okay. And then we're going to go for Incisors. Okay, we hit the Mist Energy. And the Headquarters. Headquarters is actually pretty massive in this matchup too, because now Sableye is going to take 2 energies to attack. And we did just rip a Mirage Gate out of their hand, so I would not be surprised if these Sableyes actually can't attack this turn, which actually is incredibly massive. So they had Glasses, Punch, Boss, Zard. So yeah, their hand really can't do anything. Right now Radzard is taking 2 normally, but so it takes 3. So I would not be surprised if we saw like a boss stall Squovet angle. I guess they could try to stall the Bibarel, just force me to get rid of the double turbo on it. But right now they can't even KO. Oh, they're down 2 psychic energies. Normally this list probably only plays like 3. They're playing Canceling Cologne too. Canceling Cologne. Is that for a Spathra? That has to be the only thing that's for, right? So that way Radzard can attack on the correct turns. So our opponent's down 2 Mirage Gate, 2 Super Rods, 5 switching outs. I can't imagine there's more than 7. Although they are playing 4 switch, so there probably is 8. Because normally switch card is the go-to switch for Lost Box. So they are probably playing 8 switches. 2 Mirage Gate is the standard. Okay, so now I'm in a really weird spot. So I know what half of their hand is. And the fact that they didn't... So if I judge them... I almost feel like I would rather Iono instead of judge. So I'm going to go for the Nestash. We hit an Airy. Okay, so if I take a knockout here, Radzard will need 2 energies with the stadium gone, or with the stadium in play. I'm going to Bibarel first. Okay. I'm just going to go for the Airy. Oh, we got the Prime Catcher in the Vacuum. That's insane. And they have a Roxanne. Okay, so they have Boss, Fire, Zard. And they had the Vacuum too. Okay, well, so now... I don't even know what their turn's going to be. So now the other 2 cards in their hand are Roxanne and Fire. But they don't even have a way to retreat. And they chose not to vacuum the Cape, so that way they could probably vacuum the headquarters. Wow, that area was insane. We hit Vacuum Prime Catcher. Oh, so they literally had the knockout on the Goodra. Because all they have to do is... excuse me. All they had to do was bench Zard, attach Prime Catcher, one of the 2 bench Pokemon. Vacuum away the headquarters, boss the Goodra, attach Choice Belt, right? Because they had a Choice Belt in their hand, right? Oh, it won't tell me what's in their hand. I feel like they had a Choice Belt. I could be wrong though. There's the Roxanne that I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie, I won't be surprised if we end up like winning this now. It is very close, though. Well, no, because the Radzard can never one-shot Goodra. So, I got rid of 2 Crams. The Radzard can never one-shot Goodra without double boss. Or without double gust. And we got rid of their Prime Catcher. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so they're going to let the Pidgeot take a hit. That's smart. We're going to Ultra Ball. What? Because if I bench Goodra, then he could go retreat boss KO Goodra. Well, I mean, he would need the other energy. And that would let him take 2. So I think it's just grab Spiritomb so we can Nest Stash the Spiritomb to the bottom. We draw Jet. I have no reason really not to attach this. I mean, I guess I could put a Mist Energy on Squovet, which I don't think will be relevant. I'm just gonna go for the inside. I'm digging for the boss. And I think this is gonna seal the game. Because it, like I said, most of the time, Sablezards only play like 2 Mirage Gate. And there's 1 in the Lost Zone and 1 in the discard that we hit off of an Airy. Yeah. That was a super close game. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely feels like Goodra is very good into that matchup. You know, we saw as soon as we set up the Goodra, it never died. And I'm very, oh no, so the opponent didn't go for the catcher play because they had already Colressed that turn. So they literally had the full knockout, assuming their hand didn't get disrupted. But I feel like against like arc variants, that's very hard to assume that will be the case, because most arc variants are playing 1 to 2 Airy, some amount of Ionos, and some amount of Judges. So that hand was bound to be disrupted. But props onto my opponent for finding that out there. And yeah, guys, I think this was just a great game to demonstrate the power of Goodra. Remember, guys, if you do enjoy this kind of content, to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then go ahead and leave me that comment down below, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.